Finn lived in a forgotten corner of a windswept seaside village. A quiet boy whose voice was seldom heard above the crash of the waves or the chatter of the bustling harbor. His parents, fishermen lost to a sudden storm years before, left him in the care of a distant, weary aunt who saw his silence as simple strangeness. Finn felt the world deeply, noticing the tiny cracks in shells, the way light fractured on wet stones, and most of all, the whispers, not the loud voices of people, but the soft, secret sighs carried on the breeze. The murmur of the tide pulling back over pebbles, the rustle of dry grass sharing secrets, the faint hum of sunlight warming an old stone wall. These were the sounds that filled the quiet spaces inside him. He began collecting them, not with his hands, but with his heart. He'd sit for hours on the cold, damp steps of the abandoned lighthouse where he often sought solitude, his eyes closed, listening intently. A particularly sorrowful sigh from a wave-worn piece of driftwood, a joyful trill trapped in a sun-baked seashell, a comforting murmur from the smooth gray stone he kept in his pocket. He gathered them all. They became his companions, these fragments of sound, echoing the loneliness he couldn't express and the beauty he desperately clung to. He stored them away, a growing treasure hoard of intangible comfort in his small, solitary world. One blustery autumn afternoon, seeking shelter from a sudden squall, Finn ducked into the crumbling stone outbuilding behind his anti-Euro-esque cottage. It was little more than 3 moss-covered walls and a leaky roof, filled with discarded nets and broken lobster pots as the rain drummed fiercely overhead. A profound sense of desolation washed over him, sharper than the wind. Without quite knowing why, he reached deep within himself, to that place where he kept the whispers. He gently pushed them out, not as sound, but as feeling, weaving them into the very fabric of the dilapidated shelter. The sorrowful sigh settled into a damp corner. The joyful trill danced along a dusty rafter. The comforting murmur wrapped around the cold stones like an invisible blanket. Slowly, miraculously, the broken little shed changed. The harsh angles seemed to soften. The biting cold lessened, replaced by a subtle warmth that had nothing to do with fire. The relentless drumming of the rain transformed into a gentle, rhythmic lullaby against the roof. Finn stood in the center, eyes wide with wonder. He had built a house, not of wood and stone, but of whispers. It wasn't grand, but it was safe. It was filled not with things, but with feelings, echoes of the sea, the sky, the earth itself. It was a sanctuary crafted from the quiet language of the world only he truly understood. He spent hours there, simply breathing in the peace he had created. Winter descended, bringing gray skies and a deeper chill that seeped into the village bones. Finn noticed a change within his whisper house. The collected sounds seemed heavier, tinged with a melancholy that mirrored the seasonic Euro-esque gloom. The joyful trill had faded to a faint echo. The comforting murmur felt thinner, stretched too far. The sorrowful sigh seemed louder, more persistent. His sanctuary felt fragile, like it was holding its breath against the oppressive weight of the long, dark months. He tried gathering new whispers, but the winter wind carried only sharp, brittle sounds, and the frozen earth offered no comfort. The house felt less like a refuge and more like an echo chamber of his own deepening solitude. One bitterly cold afternoon, huddled in his whisper house trying to coax warmth from the fading murmurs, Finn heard a different sound outside. A soft sniffle peering cautiously through a crack in the stones. He saw Elara, a girl from the village known for her own quiet nature and large, watchful eyes. She was shivering, her cheeks red with cold, looking lost impulsively, driven by a sudden pang of shared loneliness. Finn pushed open the makeshift driftwood door just wide enough for her to see him. He didn't speak, but simply gestured inside. Elara hesitated. Then, drawn perhaps by the inexplicable sense of calm radiating from the small space, she stepped in. A wave of surprise washed over her face as the gentle ambience of the whispers enveloped her. She didn't speak either. Not at first. She simply stood, feeling the subtle shift in the air, the quiet hum of stored peace. Then, slowly, she took a deep breath, and Finn saw something remarkable. A small, soft sigh escaped her lips, carrying the quiet weight of her own loneliness, the frustration of being overlooked, the simple exhaustion of the cold instead of dissipating. The sigh was gently absorbed into the walls of the whisper house instantly. The heavy melancholy lightened a new layer of understanding. A shared quietude wove itself into the existing whispers. Finn understood then his house wasn't meant just for storing whispers. It was meant for sharing them, for weaving new ones born of connection. A silent pact formed between them in the gentle quiet. They began to visit regularly, sometimes speaking in hushed tones, sometimes just sitting, each adding their own quietude, their own small sounds of comfort or observation to the tapestry of the house. Finn learned to listen to Elara's whispers too. The rustle of her worn woolen shawl, the soft click of a smooth stone she carried, the quiet rhythm of her breathing when she felt safe. The whisper house grew warmer, richer, filled not just with nature's secrets, but with the tender, unspoken language of two quiet souls finding solace together. It became a testament to the profound comfort found not in noise, but in the shared understanding held within a sanctuary built of gentle sounds and silent companionship. The forgotten corner held a profound warmth, a quiet magic built one precious, shared whisper at a time.